What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Happy Tuesday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time ish, Monday through Thursday, talking Vikings, talking life, talking a whole bunch of stuff. So, thanks very much for coming along. And let's hear. Let's get into the questions. I got a bunch of them, so let's hit it. First up, Max Marshecki. I think we need a box of Kirk Cousins cereal to be added to the shelves in the back of the stream. Yeah, I thought about that. It's like $8 though. I understand the proceeds go to a good cause, but actually, do they? I'm sure they do. Tristan Bale, let's hear some stories about your high school football career. Also, All right, so high school football career. So I was a slot receiver on a team that only ran pro set. So we didn't throw the ball a ton. But let's see here. We won the state championship in 2002, Class A. So that was a lot of fun. Got to play 2 games in the Dome, 1 game in the Vikings locker room, 1 game in the Gophers locker room. It was really awesome. Also, do you think the Vikings make a block? Oh, by the way, the old Metrodome turf was basically, so you know, like in the garage or like a patio, you get the green indoor-outdoor carpeting. That's basically what it was. Because I remember the first game, whenever we would hit the turf, just scrapes all over the place. And now you understand why so many players, especially like Chris Carter, wore full sleeves. And yeah, obviously with the NFL, they wear tall socks, but you get why. Like, you fully understand. Also, do you think the Vikings make a blockbuster deal this offseason? Probably not. I mean, blockbuster in the sense maybe they free up money and throw it all at Thuney or Leonard Williams. But in terms of trades, I'm down. Oakview. I know I'm salty, but thank you, Chiefs, for keeping Diggs to where we got him, making him sit there and watch it at the end. Yeah, that is a little petty. I would have been perfectly fine if Diggs went to the Super Bowl. But as long as Bills fans, asking Bills fans to, be cool. Nah. Jack Cook. It's actually crazy how we just traded Kirk Cousins to the Patriots. Him and Bill are going to be a good deal. Joey Pesic. Do you wish we moved up a few spots in the second round of 2019 to take Elton Jenkins instead of Irv? Hindsight is always 2020. I did like Jenkins when he was coming out of school because he was Mississippi State, right? Because I always get him and Eric McCoy mixed up. McCoy was Texas A&M, I'm pretty sure. But in terms of looking for... Yeah, Mississippi State. Yeah, there you go. Because I remember that's when people were first starting to open up. Well, scheme fit. Elton Jenkins, man. Like, if you can't fit Elton Jenkins into your scheme, adjust your scheme. Do it. He's really good, and it sucks. R free. Seems like the NFL got their Pat's torch game after all. How much do you think they control outcomes or storylines? I'll hang up, listen. Nah, but it is always fun to speculate. Well, Tom Brady gets all the calls. I love how Packers fans were just complaining about refereeing. Okay. T-Rag. Is it weird that I still love Diggs as though he was still a Viking? I mean, I'm so rude for him. I feel bad for him, though. He's been through some rough playoff losses. Boo. No, I still like Diggs. No, you can like Diggs. You can not like how he forces his way out of town. And also you can root against him too. Like you can do anything. It's America. Sean Sebastian. Thoughts on doing a mock draft with the biggest YouTube channels for each team? That sounds like a collab. No. Max Kallenberg. Could you ever see an expansion team? If so, what do you think the protection would look like? All right, so protection for expansion team? Yeah, probably you would be able to protect, what was it last time? 7 or something like that? Yeah, but I don't know, probably like a dozen players potentially. But I don't think that they would expand because 32 seems like that sweet spot number where if you add more teams, you're just watering down the talent base even more. And then you would have, I don't know, like Mike Glennon would have to be a starting quarterback somewhere. I don't think you necessarily want that because it's hard enough trying to find starting quarterbacks for 32 teams. So in 99, when the Browns were re-added to the NFL, there was 3 years where there was an odd number of teams before the Texans came in 2002. So there was 31 teams, and one team always had to be on a bye, which imagine it's week 1 and you have a bye, or you get 2 byes throughout the. Let's look at the Vikings schedule. So PFR 1999 Vikings, because that's just such a weird thing, man. So the Vikings got the bye week 1. Who's list of 1999 bye weeks? Was there fantasy football back then? I'm sure there was. And one team received a bye. History of bye weeks. Who had the first week bye? Screw it. I'm not that interested. But yeah, so you'd have to at least add 2 teams. And I don't know if the league would do that at this point. But locations, it feels like St. Louis wants to get back into the game. They did really well with the Battlehawks from the AAF. Or was that the XFL? Whatever St. Louis team. San Antonio has talked about wanting to get in. I mean, Texas is a big state, but putting them in Central Texas, you got Houston in Southeast, you got Dallas in the North. I don't know. I think he might just be dividing up too much of a fan base. Next up, Corey Mattis. Don't you love seeing Tom Brady out there proving you don't have to be a mobile quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl? Well, Brady has never been mobile, as seen from his 4.9 40 at the combine. But we've talked about it's more than mobility. It's about pocket awareness. That is paramount. And Brady is so good at understanding where pressure is coming from. Well, because he's seen every single blitz known to man. He understands pressures. He knows where defenses are coming from before they even get there. And also, he just has really good spatial awareness. So if there's pressure, he can step up, he can slide, he can buy extra time, and he's not afraid to stand in there and take a hit to deliver a pass. So, I mean, that's why he is above the rim. He's absolutely great. In that vein, so J.J. Watt was talking about one time they were playing Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, and Rivers, Texans were showing blitz, and Rivers called out one of the Texans players that he was lined up in the wrong spot because of the blitz that was coming, and Rivers was right. That's just funny, man. It's just funny. T-Rag. I don't know if I'm being a homer, but I personally would love Chris Carter as the next head coach of the Vikings if we lose the Eric Bieniemy sweepstakes. I don't know. I feel like CeCe's never shown an inkling to get into coaching. And you'll find that great players don't always make the best coaches because great players, I mean, sometimes players are just #blessed with the greatest skills in the world. So CeCe's out there he's talking to Chad Beebe. Hey, man, how come you didn't catch that one-handed along the sidelines, getting both toes down? Right? It's why, Michael Jordan would never make a good head coach. He wouldn't. And you see this across all sports where head coaches in the basketball are 6 men, journeymen, guys who didn't have a lot of skill but hung around the league and had to pick up all the nuances of the game and strategy because they didn't have the God-given physical ability. Who would be a good example? Well, Phil Jackson's obviously a good example. Pat Riley. I mean, Pat Riley was a star at Kentucky, except he was a 6'3" post player. But he hung around the league just because he picked up all the nuances of the game, and then it made him into a good head coach. And you see this in football too, where you see, Andy Reid was a tight end at BYU. Doug Peterson was a journeyman backup quarterback. Tomlin played at William and Mary. Matt LaFleur, blah, blah, blah. Zimmer was a college linebacker and quarterback. So, I mean, a lot of these guys who became head coaches, I mean, maybe they had a cup of coffee in the league, but, I mean, who was the last, bona fide NFL superstar who became a head coach, right? I don't know. So Arians was a quarterback of Virginia Tech. Actually, let's look at the list. Let's see. See, Kingsbury was a star at Texas Tech, and he had a cup of coffee as a backup on the Patriots. Arthur Smith was a guard in North Carolina. And now, from North Carolina, Harbaugh. I think he played college ball. I think McDermott played college ball. I'm not sure about Matt Rule. I'm sure he played college ball as well. Zach Taylor. I want to say Zach Taylor was a college quarterback somewhere. Kevin Stefanski played safety at Penn. Big fan, Joe. Dan Campbell, played on 4 teams as a blocking tight end. Frank Reich obviously was a high-end backup for the Bills for a number of years. I don't think Urban Meyer played. John Gruden, I don't even think he played college. Well, he might have played college ball Dayton or something like that. And Staley, I don't know. Flores, pretty sure Flores played, right? It'd be weird if he didn't. Yeah, played at Boston College. There you go. When I was in college, Sean Payton. Oh, Sean Payton was a quarterback at Eastern Illinois. That's how the Cowboys got the inside track on Tony Romo when he was coming out. He was a Panther as well. And then Sean Payton was the scab quarterback for the Bears during the 87 strike, which is hilarious. Robert Saleh, did he play? I don't know if Joe Judge played. See, college. Oh, yeah, I played in Northern Michigan. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys at minimum played college ball, usually small college ball. So you know, Vrabel obviously played. I guess Vrabel. Well, Ron Rivera was he on the 85 Bears, or was he afterwards? No, he was on the 85 Bears. Yeah, there you go. Because let's see, make a Pro Bowl player. No Pro Bowl. So I guess of the current coaches, I mean, Mike Vrabel is the biggest star, I guess. Sure. But I don't know what accomplished there. Or you look at baseball managers, and a lot of them are like former catchers. A lot of guys that had to learn the strategy of the game. So, long story short, Chris Carter, probably not. But you know who probably make a good coach? Greg Lewis. Chiefs wide receiver coach. Let's go. Jack Bernanke. Would you say you're a sneakerhead or just love Jordans? Also, what's your favorite shoe that isn't in your collection? So, as a kid, I was a really big sneakerhead. I think as an adult, especially since, you know, so we do Dees, but, you know, the wife seeing me spend a couple $100 on some shoes that I'm never going to wear anyway, doesn't really fly. But I am more inclined about Jordans, but there are some other ones that really strike my fancy, like the foam posits, or like signature shoes from NBA yesteryear. Like those are big. Like I really want to get Kevin Garnett's first shoe. You know, the Shaqs, the Sean Kemps, all the Kobe, Adidas, Audi TT ones. Yeah, so I'm listening to one of the Kobe autobiographies right now, and they're just getting into how Adidas and Sonny Vaccaro picked up Kobe. It's like, because I remember these as a kid, like getting Kicks magazine. It'd be like, yo, it was good. Oh man, let's see, Jordan 14's Ginger. So, I played high school basketball back in the day. I wasn't very good, but. So our high school colors were green and gold, and I had these. Sick. These were sick, man. Because I remember they were, gosh, how much were they? I think they were like $155 back in the day retail. So I remember as a kid, so I'd worked in a grocery store from like 12 up through high school. I just remember all summer. Just grinding, picking up shifts, saving cash, setting it aside, just like those are sick, man. I wish I still had those. But I guess as we progress, and you know, we keep getting hate click views from Packers fans. I mean, we can just add them to the collection. Next up is Nick V. If the Vikings hire Adam Gase as OC, I'm done with the team. Is that actually a rumor, or is that like nada? Nah, that'd be unfortunate. Hey, let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple shout-outs. Jacob McCullough, it's weird to think, but in a couple of years, Justin Jefferson's first touchdown photo of him doing the gritty in the end zone will be one of the most iconic photos in sports. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It is good. Also, there was a diorama. Let's see. Yeah. No, there's someone did like a clay sculpture of his first touchdown, except they screwed it up because number 33 at the time was, who was the veteran cornerback? It wasn't Desmond King, but they put in Desmond King. It's funny. Zaragoza 44. Thoughts on Rodgers if we stole him from Green Bay like we did Favre? No, because he was a free agent signee from the Jets. He wasn't straight coming over from the Packers. And the Vikings, I don't see them giving substantial draft capital to the Packers for Rodgers. And also, I don't think the Packers would be interested in doing that anyway. So also it's funny, when the Packers traded Favre to the Jets, there was a poison pill stipulation that if the Jets then flipped Favre to the Vikings, that the Jets would owe the Packers 2 first-round picks. which is just hilarious. So here, a couple shout outs. Let's see here. Patrick Harm, Cedar Rapids, what's going on? Purple Rain, Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Nick Kuzis, Skull from Fargo. Richard Sobolik, Houston, what's going on? Daniel Tuma, Skull from Maryland, the MD up in the house. Guys, thanks a lot for coming along. You guys are the best. Let's see here. Next up, Miles. Could the Vikings make a big trade this offseason? How about trading for a 3-tech or just sign Leonard Williams? If they can free up the money, just sign Leonard Williams. I don't really know of any high-end 3-techs that are on the block. But, things get crazy. I mean, with the lowered salary cap, there's going to be a lot of high-end players that are just cut for salary cap reasons. And you can go around and vacuum up some values. Mick Houlihan, Skull from Ireland. What's going on? Max McElroy, Kansas City. KCMO. Rohan Kumar, Skull from London. Tyler Farad, Skull from South Carolina. Paul Meadows, what's going on? Zero. Perp, can't wait to see how the Vikings fare against our opponents next season. Up against 7 playoff teams, plus the 49ers and Cardinals. Huge proven season for Zimmer. It's time to poop or get off the pot, Zim. That's about it. Nick Bowers from Enola, Pennsylvania. What's going on? Sam Morales, has Brady just changed the conversation of not being the GOAT of football, but in sports in general, like Jordan or Babe Ruth? Well, football is such a different dynamic since quarterback is the most important position in all of team sports, and your impact on the game is pretty substantial. Like, if you're going to put a percentage on it, would it be a quarterback impacts the game 60%? Which is a lot since you do have 22 guys on a field. But, I mean, in the NBA, if you get one guy like Jordan, you're automatically a contender. And with Babe Ruth in baseball, like, if you have one amazing power hitter that teams don't pitch around, I mean, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. But in terms of being the greatest of all time in football, I think that ship has sailed. I think that conversation was over after Ring 5, maybe even after Ring 4. Yeah. Cyberbully123. I was high school teammates with running back Demetric Felton from UCLA. We don't need a running back in high school and college. He played from the slot too. Reminds me of Brent Ayak and returns kicks, maybe a day 4 pick. I haven't done a lot of research on running backs for obvious reasons, but I will check them out. Andrew Collins, what should the Vikings do for their third option wide receiver, draft or sign, and who for either? It's a good-looking question. Let's see here. Spot rank, free agent. A couple more shout-outs. Abi Azuji, score from Savage. Select Beta, score from Thailand. Sarasota, Florida. Anthony Manzano. Eddie Sprague, New York. Don't tell anyone, but I actually secretly like the Yankees. I've always respected their history, but being in Twins territory, that's not ideal. All right, so Vikings not going to break the bank on free agents, so let's check the bottom. Samuel's going to get paid. Demir Bird. Pharaoh Cooper, no. Dwayne, no. Sanu, definitely not. Tavon Austin, no. Juju's going to get his. Josh Gordon's going to get suspended again. Man, Hollywood Higgins is going to get paid. How much does Spot Rec think Hollywood's going to get paid? $6 million a year? Oh, that's super reasonable. Hell, maybe they should be in the Rashard Higgins business. Reuniting with BC Johnson, Colorado State, all up in here again. Let's see. Galladay's getting paid. Goodwin's getting paid. I think they certainly will. Well, Marvin Hall's interesting. So Marvin Hall. I do like Trent Taylor. Zylstra's out there just chilling. No, Zylstra's restricted free agent, so they'll hang on to him. We're already in RFA territory, so yeah. I mean, D.D. Westbrook. D.D.'s intriguing to me. Like, obviously, he had his issues at Oklahoma, and Jacksonville just never really seemed to really get traction. But I think that they will take a shot on a veteran like a Tajay Sharp last year, like a Tavares King before that, and we'll see if it actually sticks this year. Next up, Hunter Williams, Skull from Savage, Minnesota. Thank you for the amazing content. Keep it up. Thank you. Would you trade a second and a third pick for Tom Brady in exchange for Danielle Hunter, Kirk Cousins? For a pick for Tom Brady. Wait, you're giving up Danielle, Kirk, a second and a third for Tom Brady? No. Now, Justin Webster. Thoughts on Vikings picking the top 3 wide receivers or Pitts at 14? Wait on D-line, safety, O-line until 3rd round on. It would be tempting. It would be, because the top tier wide receivers, even though it's a deep wide receiver class, are up here. And then Pitts, Freiermuth, everyone else for tight end, even though tight end's not a major. And I do think that the depth of D-line, safety, and offensive line, like, you will be able to pluck starters from the 3rd round, 4th round in that area. It would be tough. I actually hope that the Vikings aren't put in that situation. Like, if Devontae Smith is there at 14, which he certainly could be, because I think teams are going to be snobbish about his weight, or if Waddle is there or Pitts is there, Jamar Chase probably won't be there, but that'll be a tough decision. It will be tough. Max McElroy. Now that Stafford is out of the NFC North, Kirk is still the best quarterback in the division. Ow. Griffin Creer. I saw one of your mocks. I saw Surtain pass by the Vikings at 14. If that were to happen in the NFL, is there any way Zimmer doesn't take him? Zimmer might not have as large of a voice in the draft room as in previous years. That's for sure. Brett Vuzelis. But even though I like Surtain, I personally like guys like Farley or J.C. Horn more, because I think they're better at press man. Brett Vuzelis. Do you think we should draft our future quarterback or wait a year when Cousins' contract is up? Man. Well, Cousins' contract runs through 2022 after they keep him on the roster in the 3rd day of the new league year this year, which they will. It's such a weird dynamic with the quarterbacks this year, because you have your top 5, then Kyle Trask is going to go at some point. I'm not really a big Trask fan, but Desmond Ridder, Derek King being removed from the middle of this draft really changes the calculus. And now, like, I'm not really down. Like, unless Jamie Newman has himself a phenomenal week there at the Senior Bowl, I'm not really down for spending a mid-round pick on a quarterback, because you probably get Kellen Mond or Ian Book or maybe Newman, like day 3 at some point. I'd be fine with that, but I don't think there's necessarily a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round that you're just like, gotta have him. Do it. Brett Vuzelis. Do you think we should draft our rather one? Amza Abi. Let's say things don't work out with Hunter. What would you say to this deal? Hunter, 3rd rounder. Hunter, 3rd rounder, and a 4th rounder to Jags for 2 first rounders and 3 second rounders. I mean, yes. Yeah. Haimel Kiyukin. Is there a draft pick at 14 that you'd be disappointed if the Vikings select him? Kyle Trask. Now, I think anyone reasonably in that area, I'm fine with. Like, even if it is Rousseau, like, I get it. You're betting on the upside. But like Pabe, Darisaw, I guess Creed Humphrey would be super early. Same thing with Vera Tucker. Even though, yeah. Also, if you take Humphrey, like, what's gonna happen to Bradbury then, right? But I don't know. Like, outside of like taking Bateman. Even though I like Bateman, just not at 14 and not in the Viking situation. George St. Baptiste. Titans didn't pick up Corey Davis, 5th-year option. Could he be Kirky's tall receiver that lets Adam work from the slot more? He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked if the Titans, if they can't work out a long-term deal, they just slap a franchise tag on, because you got AJ Brown on a rookie deal. You're gonna be moving on from Clowney. You could be able to free up some money, so it's possible. Brett Vuzelis. I hope we draft either Quiddipe or Greg Rousseau. They could move Cleveland over to left tackle. It would be an option, but man, if you have a chance to take Darisaw or Mayfield or Jenkins or Leatherwood, if you see him as left tackle, or Sam Cosmi, like, I would understand if they would keep him there. But I mean, if say you do grab a guard, maybe you grab Wyatt Davis, redshirt him a year, or you grab Humphrey and play him a guard, or Landon Dickerson and play him a guard, Deontay Brown, Ben Cleveland, Cleveland, Trey Smith, I adore. Let's hear. Westworld. Thoughts on job Mike Mayock has done rebuilding the Raiders? They've made some suspect high round picks. I didn't understand Clelin Ferrell at 4. I didn't understand Jonathan Abram in the 1st round. I respect that they get their guys and they don't really care what anyone else thinks. But would you say that the Raiders are overly talented at this point? Even though they had this amazing windfall from the Khalil Mack trade? Like, are they better off without Khalil Mack? Probably not. I think they did find some nice late gems. Max Crosby, the pride of Eastern Michigan, who I loved. Baby Jared Allen. But overall, also you factor in throwing all that money at Trent Brown, who they may cut this offseason because of the salary cap. Yeah. Also Colton Miller. Nah. Westworld, what available coach would it take for Watson to stay in Houston? I think Bieniemy would have a shot to keep him. Where if you have an offensive-minded guy who commands respect, like Bieniemy, I think that they could potentially coax him to stay. But if they go Leslie, if they go Caldwell, like maybe it's possible. Spartus Jacks, as likely as it has happened, can you still do a mock where Cousins theoretically gets traded to another team? I don't think I've seen you do one yet. We could. I mean, it's on the list of things to do. We have like 75 different variations of mock draft, but maybe we'll bump that up to the top of the list. Bruce, is that you, Rona? Bruce Robinson Jr. Should we try to pull a Favre with the Rodgers? No. Pull for a Skull, are you going to watch any NDSU football starting next month? I don't know. Well, they got rid of Trey Lance, and Red Ends is gone, so I don't know, maybe. I'm sure we'll watch it, just like we watched the AAF just because it was there. Christine Hansen, are the Packers going to botch this year's draft like last year? Yes. They'll draft a 2-down linebacker. Miles. Good Lord, some Packer fans are annoying. This game is rigged. The ref stole it. Sam Olson. Who's your favorite mid-round quarterback in this class? No one. I guess Kyle Trask if you give him in the 4th. But if I had to name a name, I guess Jamie Newman. I do like Mond. I do like Ian Book, but not like thrilled, you know? I'm Guess Conway. What do you think about Durante Jones becoming LSU's defense coordinator and replacements for him? I don't know any defensive back coaches off the top of my head. Maybe they try to bring Terrence Newman back. I know that the 1 year that he was assistant to the regional defensive backs coach, he wasn't really thrilled about it. But I think they should have ran him back with Jerry Gray. I understand that they needed a scapegoat for the 2019 season. And overall, I think Durante Jones did a good job this year, given no OTAs, no rookie camp. The first time that he met Dantzler and Gladney and Harrison Hand was day 1 of training camp in all likelihood. So, well-deserving. And Ed Ogeron, I mean, they have a winning program down there. They do. LSU is always able to recruit great talent, especially on defense, especially in that defensive backfield. They are DBU for a reason. And, yeah, I think it's a fun opportunity for him. Abza Abdi, if Rodgers is under center for the Vikings 2021, would you be more or less confident in our chances to make a Super Bowl run? I choose death. Luke Zacher, if Aaron Rodgers... I don't want to answer any more Aaron Rodgers questions. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they'll probably win a Super Bowl because of that defense. Mitchell Anderson. Should Zimmer... Well, hold on. If Rodgers was on the roster from 2008 to present, Brad Childress might still be here. Actually, probably not. I think Childress and Rodgers would butt heads. Mitchell Anderson. Should Zimmer make a career path model for OC in-house position coach? Blah, blah, blah. Rotate. Da. I think that's sort of what they've been doing. You look at Janako moving around. Maybe he's next in line after Clint Kubiak gets a head coaching job. Perp, does the possibility of one of the big 3 wide receivers falling 14 to increase due to the Lions now? Yeah. Yes. Especially since they'll be in a quarterback. That's a good point. DMN 1447. Why haven't the Vikings named OC yet? I think that they're feeling out all their options, even though the likely candidate... Well, since Clint Kubiak, they can block him from interviewing anywhere else, and he's probably going to be the OC anyway. I think they're just taking their sweet-ass time. And also, they do have to interview a minority candidate because the Rooney Rule expanded this year. Anthony Stewart, do you think we should draft Jorge Gonzalez in the later rounds? I do not know who that is. Let's see who he is. Or is this one of those fake names where it's be like, oh, yeah, he's good? It's a fake person. Tristan D. I knew it. I'm starting to think Bill Belichick isn't as good as everyone says. It was just mostly just Tom Brady. Well, the first Super Bowl was definitely Belichick. I mean, that game plan against the Rams for sure. But as Brady progressed, could you say that the first 3 Super Bowls were equal parts Belichick and Brady with some Vinatieri sprinkled in there? Sure. But the last couple ones, I mean, coming back from 28-3, that was Tom Brady. Them beating the Rams That was a great defensive game. That was a great game plan for the Rams. Again, we got the Rams again. Yeah. But I don't know. This could be sort of a one-off. I mean, the Bucs were talented, but last year Jameis just got thrown into the other team. Ezekiel Lockhart, number one, do we make a mistake by letting Tomlin go to Pittsburgh in 2007 or now? Well, I mean, it was Tomlin's first year as a defense coordinator, and you probably weren't going to fire Childress after one season. But in retrospect, yes. Number two, favorite sports movie, mine's Miracle. I have also seen Goodfellas 100 times. Favorite sports movie? It might be something dumb. Warrior, the MMA movie with Tom Hardy and what's that other Jerome's name? That's a really good one. Rounders, except poker's not really a sport. Poker's an activity. Or a mind sport, as it were. Any Given Sunday is a great football movie. It is. And it holds up. Like, the action absolutely holds up. I like the movie Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg. It's a great movie where she takes over as head coach of the Knicks. It's funny. The Major League, all three of them. Like, even Major League 3 is funny. Little Big League's a great movie. I found that I like baseball movies more than I do actual baseball, which is understandable. Yeah. Hockey, Goon. Goon's a great movie, man. It's good. I've never actually seen Miracle, which I think is grounds for deportation, being from Minnesota. Flight Reacts. If you could sign any free agent, who would it be and why? I was going to say Joe Thuney, but it might be Leonard Williams or Shaq Barrett. I don't know, just rebuilding that pass rush, man, just getting after it. Diego said, purchase a guard in the offseason and draft a defensive lineman in the first round. I'd be okay with that. Finlay Mascarelli. Have you watched any of Pat McAfee's Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays? No. Harvey Melber, with so many NFC teams possible, because I don't want to watch anything that possibly would make me like Aaron Rodgers. No. Harvey Melber, with so many NFC teams possibly making changes quarterback 2021, do you think the Vikings front office is going to run it back with Kirk? Yes, I think they will. Christine Hansen, how much say do you think Andre Patterson has in the Vikings? He certainly has input. He certainly had input on Danielle Hunter. He had input on Afadi. He had input on a lot of the guys in the room. I think he had input on Shamar Stephan as well. That would sort of make sense. Yeah, most position coaches generally, like they don't get a final vote, but depending on your seniority and how long you've been with the squad. But yeah, you'll generally get a, hey, what do you think about this guy? Or what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But the scouts do the work. GM makes the decision. So, yeah. Thorvald Von Johnson, top 5 Vikings head coaches, top 5 Vikings coordinator assistants. I don't know. Bud, Denny, Zimmer, Bernsey, Tice. That's depressing. Top 5 coordinator assistants. Belichick was almost assistant, wasn't he? I guess it would be Pete Carroll, Tomlin, Tony Dungy, Buddy Ryan. Yeah, Buddy Ryan was the defensive line. The Vikings should have been the 85 Bears, by the way, because, we'll get into that. As well as, I guess, Brian Billick, 5. So Buddy Ryan was the Vikings defensive line coach for a long time under Bud Grant. And then I believe in 84, when Les Steckel took over, that's when Buddy went to the Bears. Or it might have been before that. It might have been like 82. Yeah, so... No, it was way before that. That's my bad. So they swapped over in 78. So can you imagine, like, the Vikings defensive line, that Vikings defense being turned into the 46? The Vikings should have been the 46 defense. But alas. And one of the big reasons why Alan Page ended his career in Chicago is because Buddy Ryan's like, yeah, we'll take him. We'll take Alan Page. Let's get it. God. But I actually think I like football history better than football. Weird as it sounds. Miles, who's the smartest person on the Vikings? I'd say Hair Bear. Well, it was Stephen Weatherly. because he could play like a dozen instruments, and he went to Vanderbilt. I guess who would it be now? I guess maybe a Fadi. Pride of Northwestern. I'm trying to think who went to academic schools. There's no one from Stanford. I mean, Notre Dame is, I guess, an academic school, but, you know. Let's see, no one from Vanderbilt. No one from the Ivy League. Yeah, I'll just say a Fadi. Next up, well, Virginia's pretty good too, but Anthony Harris isn't technically on the team anymore. Who's that dude? Seen Kirk's new Best Buy commercial? I have not. We should probably watch it. We should probably do a reaction video to that. Actually, I'll write that down. Kirk, Best Buy. Sam Heckel. Most likely landing spot for Watson as of right now. Jets. Yeah. I think it's either the Jets or the Dolphins. Noisy Boy. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go if he leaves the Packers? God, the Niners would make a ton of sense. Although I think the Packers will want to trade him out of division. Man, could you see him going to the Colts? That would be a great get for the Colts. Pittsburgh, maybe. Actually, Rodgers to the Raiders. Rodgers to the Raiders would make sense. And then they just get rid of Carr and Mariota's like deuces. That would be a great get. Next up, Eric Hansen. What if the Vikings make the Super Bowl on a similar path to the Bucks? How will the Vikings do against the Chiefs? Who is the MVP? They win by 1,000. MVP is Dalvin. Jake Bernicki. Do you think we could trade Riley Reid to the Colts for a fourth or better? Well, I think the Colts' first-round pick is going to be spoken for. I think that they probably are the most likely landing spot for Matthew Stafford. So they'll probably lose their first-round pick anyway. But if they keep it, I think they're definitely spending on a left tackle. But Reef for a fourth? Hell, maybe you could even leverage it to a third. I mean, it's possible. Max Kallenberg. If you haven't seen Tim Pizza Ranch later last Instagram story, you must go check it out. We'll do it later. Thorvald Von Johnson, if you could pick two for your Super Bowl dream team, which would they be? Top 5 offense, defense, quarterback, offense. Well, if you have a top 5 quarterback, chances are you're going to have a top 5 offense, so that seems redundant. I'm going to go top 5 quarterback and coach. There we go. Thorvald Von Johnson. Good, not great coaches that won the Super Bowl's luckiest coach. Let's take a look. The name that springs to mind right away is Brian Billick. Even though I really like Brian Billick. But when he won in 2000, I believe that was his second year in charge in the Ravens. His offense was nothing to write home about, and that defense really did carry the day. Big props to Marvin Lewis. Let's see here. That's still at the top. Lombardi, respect. Weeb Eubank, respect. Hank Stram, wall, respect. Okay. All right, so Tom Landry. Wait, no, it's a losing head coach. I don't know anything about Don McCaffrey. I know he took over for the Colts after Shula left for the Dolphins. Landry, yes. Shula, yes. Madden, yes. People forget that Madden retired from coaching like really young. He's like 39 or something like that. Landry again, Noel. Flores doesn't get enough respect. He won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, man. Respect. Walsh, yes. Gibbs. I mean, could you say that Ditka is overrated? Because Ditka's an offensive guy. And it was that defense that won him the 85 championship. And even though he had some decent Bears teams after that, they never got back to the heights. And, you know, his time in New Orleans was obviously a disaster. He made a big trade for a running back. So, yeah, I'll put Ditka up there as in terms of overrated guys. Parcells, respect. Seifert. Seifert was Bill Walsh's defensive coordinator. Then he took over. And, you know, the defense was always good with Ronnie Lott and company. But, I mean, it was all about that offense, man. So he won this last one here with Montana. He won this one with Shanahan, Kubiak, and Steve Young. So he's just sort of the caretaker. Jimmy Johnson, stud. Holmgren stud. Barry Switzer. Yeah, Barry Switzer is definitely on that list of overrated. Because he was barely a manager. He was just like, whatever. We got all this inertia with Jimmy's guys. Whatever. I'm gonna party harder than all the players too. Also, George Seifert. Look what he did in Carolina. Hiya. Seifert, respect. Vermeil, respect. Billick. Yeah. You could actually say that John Gruden. Could you say that Gruden is overrated? Because all right, so they had offense now, so he brought that respect. But that defense was all Tony Dungy, man. It was all Tony Dungy. So Cowher finally got one. Dungy finally got one. Coughlin's legit. Peyton. No comment. McCarthy. Yeah, McCarthy. Yeah, definitely put him on the list. Harbaugh, respect. Pete, respect. Coobs. I think Coobs did an underrated job because that defense, it really was a lot of Wade Phillips, and that offense was really dragging its ass along. But he got Peyton Manning to play from under center, which is really amazing. And plus, he went 5-2 with Brock Osweiler in the middle of the season. People forget that. So I think it's really an underrated job from Gary Kubiak, even though it wasn't necessarily his offense that won the day. Let's see, Belichick and Andy Reid, respect. Doug, I like Doug, but also it's a little bit too soon to see. But yeah, there's definitely some overrated ones in there. Oh, maybe we should do a video on that. Overrated the worst. Let's see here. Amza Abdi, I know trading within division is taboo, but Wolf Kilimax making notes for the Bears don't like. Would you go all in from? Yes. Samuel Salinger's goal. Rank the Viking ceilings from the highest. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to do the highest and the lowest. I think the highest is... I think Dantzler has the highest ceiling just because of the length, as well as the relative age. Lowest, Osborne. Actually, no, lowest, Stanley. Max Kallenberg. What do you think the biggest thing JJ needs to work on? It's a good-looking question. I don't know. You can add some more strength, but I think every receiver in the league could add some more strength. Blocking is decent. Route running's on point. Hands are on point. I mean, his contested catch skills are amazing, but if he added a little bit more upper body strength and he'd be able to muscle smaller defensive backs, just add that dimension to his game, I guess. But we're picking nits at this point. Michael Miller, if you had a chance to draft the best offensive line or the best defensive tackle in this draft, what would you take? I would. All right, so the best offensive line or best. Well, since this is a really down defensive tackle class, I mean, I'm taking the best offensive lineman. I'm taking Penny Sewell. Perp, do you think Zim and Rick would pull the trigger on Pitts if he falls to 14? I don't know if they would. I would really want them to, but I don't know if they would. Nathan Schultz, how is this for instant Texans turnaround? Miami's Flora to yes, I'm in. Miles, how much juice does Patrick Peterson have left in the tank? I think he has 2 years left. 2 years left of being very good, and then 2 years after that of being decent. Michael Lewis, how disgusting would it be if the Chiefs trade up to snag Pitts? The NFL can't let that happen. That'd be gross. Sports Reactor 53. If you had to pick between Darisaw and Slater at 14, who'd you choose and why? Length limitations. Chris Danny Hansen. Best thing about Minnesota, worst thing about Minnesota. Best thing, summer. Worst thing, winter. Ezekiel Lockhart. Sorry, bro. Number 3. Would you rather have Gardner Minshew, Rodgers, Michael Vick, or... give me 2010 Michael Vick, bread pudding, and French toast. I don't care for either. Luke Zacher, do you think Diggs underperforms in the big stage? Well, he did only have 4 catches in the 2 playoff games last year. I think that he played well against the Chiefs, considering that he was being double teamed most of the day. I don't think he underperforms, but he certainly does need some help. Tyler Newman, Camaro ZL1 or Challenger Hellcat? I don't care about cars. Pulford Skull. Do you think it's possible teams will try to right the wrongs of past mistakes? Jimmy G, Aaron, and maybe. I wouldn't be shocked if Garoppolo ends up in New England. Actually, let's talk about that. QB destinations. Diego said Stafford gets traded, Rodgers traded, Trubisky and Foles get traded. Well, they'd have to tag and trade Trubisky. Put more pressure on. Well, the pressure's already there. And lastly, Jack Bornicki. Trade Kirk to the Colts for a first and second, the package 14 of the Colts. Package 14 and the Colts pick to trade up for one of the big four quarterbacks. Yeah, we'll be in. I don't know if the Colts will go for it, though. But, yeah, we'll see. That's it. That's today's Daily Jeromes live stream. You guys are the best. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m.-ish, adjacent.